In this video, we're going to talk about the generalities of plants. This first video is going to be pretty generic because we're going to talk about what makes a plant a plant. For example, plants are eukaryotic. Now, as a reminder, there are eukaryotic and prokaryotic. What that means is they have a cell with all organs in it. It's self-sustaining. It can sustain itself. Now, if I get ahead of you a little bit, you may want to pause the video and catch up and then hit play again, but we'll keep going. Plants also have cell walls. Now, a cell wall, only found in plants. They also have cell membranes. So they actually have both. They have a cell wall and a cell membrane within them, but it is the cell wall itself that makes it completely unique. That cell wall is really looks like almost like a brick. It is rectangular shaped, and then that cell membrane is right inside that. And then you have all the parts of the cell. If you're not quite sure all of that, you can go back and look at the video on the parts of a cell. But a plant has all of those parts. Now, not only are they self-sustaining, plants being, they also have cell walls, but they make their own energy through a process called photosynthesis. All right, quick reminder. Photosynthesis takes place because plants have chloroplasts in them. Chloroplast is an organ just in plants that has this special makeup in it called the chlorophyll. And chlorophyll is what makes plants typically green and allows the process of photosynthesis to take place. Photosynthesis is unique to plants. They can produce their own energy. That's what's really important here. They produce their own energy. Now, there is a term for that. I used it in one of the other videos, but I'm going to go ahead and say it again. There are autotrophs. Plants are autotrophs. Okay, they can make their own energy. You and I are not that way. We are actually a heterotroph. Okay, but they're not a heterotroph. They make their own energy. So capturing energy from the sun with a couple of other things, they can actually make their own energy. And we're going to talk about those specifically here in a minute. So some of the main differences between plants and animals, what makes a plant, self-sustaining. They have cell walls. They also have cell membranes, but a cell wall, very, very rigid outside wall, and they make their own energy through the process of photosynthesis, carried out in this place called the chloroplast through a chemical called chlorophyll, which is used in the process of photosynthesis. Let's be a little more specific. What plants need to survive? Now, you may want to pause the video and write these down real quick. If not, see if you can just keep up with me as we go along. Plants need sunlight. Sunlight is what's going to be vital to a plant. It can actually sit in sunlight, absorb that sunlight, and use it to produce its own energy. So sunlight's going to be vital. Has to have water, so do we. Plants have to have water, and then they have CO2, which is carbon dioxide, the gas that you and I breathe out every few seconds. And then oxygen. They produce oxygen and they use that. We're going to talk about that in a minute. So they take in water. Carbon dioxide and oxygen are going to be useful to them. And then they have to have nutrients that they absorb through their roots. And that's how they're going to actually, obviously, that's how they get water, is through their roots. And the movement of water has to move from the roots all over the plant. So it's real specific on what plants must be able to do. And so plants are incredibly unique in that they are the only ones that take sunlight and produce their own energy. They have to have water and these gases. So let's talk about this specifically here for a minute with the process called photosynthesis. In the process of photosynthesis, a plant's going to make its own food. They're going to take in carbon dioxide and water, and they're going to put that to use, and they're going to make C6H12O6, which is called glucose, and they are also going to produce oxygen gas. All right. Now, actually, this reaction should be written over here like this. Let's see if it shows up on the video correctly. There it goes. That's right. This is the chemical representation of photosynthesis. Plants take in carbon dioxide gas, they pull in water through their roots, and they produce glucose, which is a very simple sugar, and give off oxygen. So plants have photosynthesis that goes this direction. Now humans do really the opposite. We take our foods and we break it down to glucose, C6H12O6. We breathe in oxygen, and we breathe out carbon dioxide, and we make water every day. Let me move that so that can be seen a little bit better. I'll move it this direction, H2O. And so we do exactly the opposite. The first one up here is called photosynthesis. The bottom one is called cellular respiration. In cellular respiration, in our cells, we will break things down to glucose. Through using oxygen, we break it down into carbon dioxide and water. You will notice that this reaction and this reaction are opposites of one another. Now, there's a big difference between this top reaction and the bottom reaction here. All right? Not just because they're opposites. Here's the important part. This takes place in sunlight. Okay? In chemistry, we call that a catalyst. It speeds up the reaction. It actually causes it to happen. So photosynthesis happens during the day. At night, plants still pick up carbon dioxide and can get water from the roots, but they do not produce glucose and oxygen because sunlight is what causes that to happen. All right? Photosynthesis, carbon dioxide and water, and so we take two small molecules, we put them together into a big molecule, and they give off oxygen. So plants are vital to our world because they make oxygen gas. For any animal that breathes oxygen, plants are incredibly important. As humans, we do the opposite. We take that glucose, we breathe in oxygen, and we breathe out carbon dioxide that plants need. So basically, we help each other. We're producing carbon dioxide through breathing out and other means, burning fossil fuels and other things, and plants take that carbon dioxide into this first equation and break it back down into oxygen, which is what you and I need every single day. So as we start to take down forests and as we start to find areas where there's less and less plants, it will eventually affect how much oxygen is in the atmosphere. Now, this is not just done by small plants, it's done by big plants, it's done by plants that live in the ocean. Any of them that go through photosynthesis, this top reaction, actually help us because they produce the oxygen we need. They take out the carbon dioxide that is there, and they will then replace it with oxygen. In the next couple of videos, we're going to talk about how plants specifically use their roots, plants, and stems in order to grow and to produce this oxygen that you and I need.